telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here for all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military, educating us, standing up for conservatism, giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele, Big D on the other side of the glass at the studio, along with Nina, as they're watching like you are. You're watching at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are not in studio. We are in the Capitol right now in a very beautiful room. We have been treated so well, and it's been a fantastic start of what is going to be a very busy week. It's been a busy day, as you can imagine. And when you have Senator Ashley Moody with you, it's a great day sitting in front of me right now, because it's been when was the last time I had a chance to see you?
It's been a busy year.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Let's get started there.
Right.
I don't think the United States Senate has been this busy, and I don't even know how long. In fact, we keep saying we're breaking records in terms of number of votes, in terms of how fast we're getting nominations through to confirmation.
Yeah.
It's been quite a change from my full-time days as Attorney General in Florida to becoming the newest United States Senator. So I was so excited you were here to see a friendly face from Florida.
I know. And I was hoping I was going to bring, I think I did bring some warmth, because I think it was like, it's been 20s and 30s, and today it's 40s. And
to bring some more sunshine to the swamp.
It needs it. But talk about, before we get into everything, just quickly, like, how has it been? How has it been here?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this. I have really felt effective and bringing my background, not just my professional or educational, but my personal background, the battles I've had as a mom right now with a kid in school. I have a husband that's a law enforcement officer, a career law enforcement officer, bringing all of that to bear and continuing some of the same fights. As you know, I was very involved in fighting the last administration.
Yeah.
A lot of the success in Florida was because we had successes coming out of Florida against Washington and kind of the overbearing regulatory state that was the Biden administration, trying to force their values and agenda and radical wish lists down into the states. And so I took that same obviously tenacity to push back and preserve Florida's ability to lead the way we wanted to. And now I'm taking that to DC, and it has truly been a rewarding experience to bring all of that to bear and fight for Floridians. And truly, what we've been able to accomplish in Florida, this Florida's success story, can be the nation's success story.
Right. In a lot of different, and we're going to talk about some of the thoughts and ideas of that.
And that fight has just been a tremendous honor. I'm so grateful that God has put this in my path in life, and that Floridians are now supporting me and encourage me as I work through and learn the ropes here. Although I often say, I think I've said on more than one occasion, I didn't show up here to do business as usual.
Yes.
And so, I'm taking that same approach that I did in Florida right here to the Capitol.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's so funny how we come from the state of Florida, and we're so used to all the great things that you were able to do and the things that have been happening. And then, you say, how do we make this translate this into our federal government? What things that we can move, like HALO Act, for example, and something that's so important. You could speak to that too, which is such a big deal.
This is a no-brainer to me. I'm hearing all of these things. So right now, you probably top of news right now is we're kind of in a standoff. The Democrats are refusing to fund DHS over a narrative that they have created, when in fact most of what the funding applies to is Coast Guard, TSA.
Right.
I could go on and on, right?
Yep.
And yet we're in this standoff, when if they truly cared about reforms that would keep everyone safe, not just law enforcement, but the communities, they would say, let's pass something that Florida considered and passed, the HALO Act, which I have introduced as a United States Senator. It keeps a 25-foot safety zone between law enforcement as they're attempting to do their jobs, and those that want to be there to observe or, quote unquote, peaceful protest. And so that should be something that everybody can get on board with, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to do. Take what worked in Florida, what has made us the #1 state in so many areas, and bring that here and fight for that here. It not only will make Florida stronger, it'll make our nation stronger. And people just want people up here that care about this country and care about putting Americans first. And that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah. And, even some of the things that we were talking about before with regard to the SAVE Act and some of the ways that we can go about doing the best that we can to get this moving forward, to get this for the American people, which, by the way, again, I've said this all day today to people, for Democrats, I'm sure you, as much as we here, would love to make sure, for example, elections are secured no matter where we are in this country. And the fact that you want to fight for and against what is an 80-20 or 93-7 issue, again, like on healthcare with Obamacare and the subsidies, like this is what they continue to do. And sometimes it's just about the transparency of showing, look, this is who they are. This is what they fight for. But we have to make sure that we get this across the finish line. No doubt about it. Your thoughts on the SAVE Act?
So much that is related. It seems like an issue here, an issue there, issue here. It's all related.
Yeah.
And I think you are absolutely right. You have to have folks. And one of the things that I've tried to do is say there are very big differences in how our party is approaching things. The Republicans are approaching policy and decisions on what is going to strengthen the national security of this country, the safety of your own communities, the prosperity of Americans, and every policy should be evaluated through that lens.
Yeah.
And if you look at any of these issues, what they push is chaos and subversiveness, period.
Yeah.
The policies that they push generally weaken us as a nation because they in some way embolden or continue bad actors taking advantage of the American taxpayer, or undermining the strength of our communities, or dissolving any sort of border security. I mean, I could go on and on, but they're all related. And so what we're saying is, look, the people that are voting on those that are going to come up here to the people's house, like me, I see myself as just reflective of the people that I represent.
Right.
And the people that are voting for those of us in federal office that are supposed to be reflection of we the people, they should be able to show that they are here as an American citizen and that they are who they say they are when they vote.
Right.
Otherwise, that weakens our entire system of government.
Yeah.
And more than anything, and you said this before, trust by we the people that the government, our government, is acting on our behalf, is accountable to us, is transparent with us.
Yeah.
That is key to the continued success of this country.
Yeah.
Truly. The buy-in, the trust, the credence that we the people give our government, that is what will continue the solid foundation of a free people in a democratic republic. That is what will continue this country. And so anything that adds to that, we should all be for.
Yeah, absolutely. Senator Ashley Moody joining us on Florida's Voice. Before we go, I have to ask you about this, because I'm looking at the headline in Florida's Voice, and I said, this is like this is so 2026 headline. So Florida's Voice: Trump signs bipartisan Moody Kennedy bill to stop federal payments to the dead. That is a thing, or was a thing. It's unbelievable. Talk about that.
And this goes back to what I was just saying.
Yeah.
In order for this government, the United States of America and the government of we the people to work, we the people have to have faith that when we give over our hard-earned dollars to our government, that they are using them in a way that is efficient, that they're good stewards, that they're not just pumping them out to bad actors or, worse yet, criminals.
Right.
And I just did a hearing yesterday where we're saying 10% of our outlays go to bad actors, to fraud. 10%. That's more than the budget of the entire state of Florida. And so when we can cut off superfluous, wasteful, abusive spending, we should do it. We owe that to our citizens. That's what I'm fighting up for here. And it's not just about the bad actors getting the money. It's about strengthening trust by our citizens.
Yeah.
And yes, this is a no-brainer. So glad President Trump signed this. I was with him yesterday. He was so proud to do it. And this will just make sure Social Security is communicating when people are deceased, that they're communicating with the Treasury,
Right.
and they don't pay when people have passed. Seems like a no-brainer.
Right. And just before we go, this thought, see, sometimes and you would say to yourself, why is it that we couldn't get this done before? And sometimes it takes someone like you to be here, to come to this place and present this idea, this thought, bring this forward, which maybe didn't get the attention because there's too many other things. I don't know why, but clearly you had this vision and this thought on this whole process.
Well, this has been coming for a long time. A lot of people have been seeing the weakness in this. I give a lot of credit to Senator Kennedy. He is a great colleague. He is feisty as you would not believe.
Yeah.
He's been on this, and so there are those of us that came here to try and fix the waste.
Right.
We can do so much better. People are working two jobs. They're working late shifts, and we're going to keep spending money like this when that's time away from their families. I have a family. I still have a kid in school. I know what that means to take time away from your family. So we want to just be very conscious on what can we do to make sure we're being better stewards of taxpayer money. And I will tell you, yesterday I was in a hearing. It was about fraud. We were discussing the Minnesota fraud,
Right.
okay? And on the other side of the aisle, we literally had Democratic senators say, I don't even know why we're here. Fraud has been going on for decades. And I'm quoting them.
Right. I believe they would say that.
Going on for decades.
Well, it's only
going to address it.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable, not acceptable. That's not why I'm here. And I'm sorry if a tenth of what our outlay of monies is going to bad actors or to fraud or waste or abuse, we've got to figure out what's going on with that. And when I tell you yesterday, someone estimated in terms of the fraud and abuse associated with illegal immigration, I think they put the number at 150 billion.
Wow.
If that is true, that is more than most of our federal agencies are going to waste and abuse and fraud just as a result from immigration. Right. So we got to do better.
Yeah.
We got to do better. And that should be all of our missions. I don't care if you wear an R or a D on your jersey, you gotta do better.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that. But listen, I love your common sense and your passion, and this is how we get things done here is with people like you being in this place. And so I cannot thank you enough for stopping by. I know you're busy. We have to do this again soon, please. Anytime you want to come on the air, we would love to have you back.
Great to be with you. Thanks for the invitation.
Right.
See you soon.
Yeah, I will see you soon. Senator Ashley Moody joining us here on Florida's Voice. Always great to see her. And yes, a friendly Florida face. That is, what is that called? What do we call that, D? When I say a friendly Florida face that's an
alliteration.
Alliteration. Thank you. And it's an alliteration as opposed to an alliteration, which is probably something that's not very good. All right. We've got in just a minute. We have more people that will be joining us here on Florida's Voice. Great to see you. All right. Let's take a break. Oh, no, we're not going to take a break. Not yet. What am I talking? See, what am I talking about? 866-588-8303 is a phone number anytime you want to watch NFL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. There you go. All right. Wow, we got a lot going on here. I got a little distracted. It's like a party. Well, it's nice when you see friendly Florida faces. Attorney General Pam Bondi was here on Capitol Hill to speak to a committee hearing today, and she's a friendly face, but not to everybody. Let's just put it this way: the left doesn't think as highly as some of us do when it comes to a House hearing on what is going on with the Attorney General and the Department of Justice, and things got ugly pretty fast. First of all, let me just play a little bit of audio of some of what she had to say. Before we get to the crazy, let's talk about some of the positive things that have been going on. Here is the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who was talking about some of the progress that has been made.
Well, over a year ago, I was sworn into office as the 87th Attorney General of the United States.
I came into office with the goal of refocusing the Department of Justice on its core mission after years of bloated bureaucracy and political weaponization. The Department of Justice's core mission is to fight violent crime, protect the American people, and defend the rule of law above all else.
Yep. So far, so good, right?
While our work is never done, we have made tremendous progress to make America safe again. In 2025, we saw the lowest murder rate in 125 years.
Yes. So right there, you've got 40 seconds of Pam Bondi and explaining to everybody all the good stuff that is going on. Lowest murder rate in 125 years, trying to make America safe again, right? And then there was a couple of interesting moments. Let me see if I could find this one here. This one in particular that had to do with Representative Jerry Nadler, who I guess apparently fell asleep just before everything got started as she got going and had to have. So here's Pam Bondi speaking. If you're watching at FL Voice News, YouTube, Herbal X, and Facebook, there's Jerry Nadler taking a nap. I guess this is as good a place as any to take a nap. Till somebody comes along and says, hey, you shouldn't really be taking a nap. The Attorney General speaking now. Oh, it seemed like such a perfect place to do that. And then after that, all things cut loose because then you had, let's just talk about this exchange with the Attorney General as the stunts were starting. And here you go, Jerry Nadler. Let's see him take it away. Here, listen to this.
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
All right. So they were talking about Epstein and indictments, and you have Jerry Nadler, who knows a lot about snoozing there on the dais. But anyway, now wanting some answers from her, Pam Bondi is not going to take lightly to some of what Democrats are trying to push on her here. And
answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman
How many
Gordon,
have you
I'm
indicted?
going to get in the gutter with these people.
How many?
I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs.
Claiming my time.
I can't do it. So I think Jerry Nadler wants to retain his time so that he can go back to sleep. No, seriously, like that was him napping there in the whole thing. I think he naps a lot around here, which begs the question. Well, I think we know the question and we know the answer. All right. Anyway, so the point is Pam Bondi, Attorney General, had a lot to say today. We will play some more clips coming up in just a bit here on Florida's Voice. The CEO, founder of Florida's Voice is Brendan Leslie. He's sitting right in front of me as I speak. By the way, I saw him earlier this morning on a leisurely walk down the freezing streets of DC.
Yeah, that was really weird. I was confused. I walk into the room. Drew's like, hey, how was your walk? And I'm like, what do you mean? How was my walk? He was like, yeah, that was a cold walk that you were going up this specific street at this specific time that I was doing. I was like, how did you know that?
As I was getting the Uber and going up to the location that I was at, you were all the way down the hill. And I watch it and I'm like, he's got a long, what's he doing
I got out of my
there?
Uber like maybe a half a mile away from the Cannon House building. And I was like, you know what? I want to get my steps. But then I quickly regretted it because not only is it 35 degrees out and we are Florida men, we're not meant for the cold.
Nope.
I was also going uphill. So those steps were, in my book, counted as double calories burned. So
whatever.
It was fine.
I don't think that's how it works.
I think that's exactly how it works.
Yes,
it is true.
Anyway, so we've had a great day already here at the Capitol. It's been pretty amazing. And we've got a packed show here right now. But everybody's buzzing about votes today and the SAVE Act and trying to get this thing across the finish line. And what are your thoughts right now?
Well, I mean, we got to give a shout out to the most conservative caucus in the Florida House. Sorry, I'm still in Florida mode. We're in D.C. In Congress, that would be the Republican Study Committee. They've really led the charge on getting the Save America Act across the finish line and getting our election secured and voter ID to the President Trump's desk. And it's going to pass in the House. Now it's just a matter of if and when the Senate is going to take it up. I have faith, Drew. I have faith. I'm the optimist. I think Leader Thune is going to come through. I think they have a plan. I think it's going to go forward. There's no way they can't.
What is the plan?
See,
just like I was talking to Senator about.
Scott Pressler has been talking about it all day today with Callie. He's talked to 75 members today. Yeah, Scott Pressler, talk about a guy that works.
Okay, Scott Pressler, who was with us just a little while ago, earlier on on the other program. Can I mention the other
Yeah,
program?
our other program, our national,
on Right
nationally
Line.
syndicated radio show, Right Line.
Yes, Right Line. And he was on the Right Line program earlier today, and he was giving it to everybody. Like he was basically calling everybody out to their face.
Well, he's talked to or in front of 75 congressional members today about the importance of putting pressure on the Senate to bring it to the floor for a debate. Because if you bring it to a floor for a debate, you just wait the Democrats out. And Drew, you were talking about this off camera or to me earlier. You wait these guys out. What are they going to do? Talk for 6 days straight? Eventually, they're going to give up.
Yeah.
And then once they give up, then you just need your 50 votes, which we have 50 votes that will say yes. And then the tiebreaker would be JD Vance.
So how come we haven't got to that place yet? You see, that's where the frustration lies. How is it we haven't got to that place?
I really wish that we could speed up this timeline, because it just makes absolutely no sense that we haven't passed this yet, because it's an 80-20 rule. It's an 80-20 policy. 80% of Americans support it. I mean, how can you explain? And the other good thing about getting it to the floor for debate, we need to listen to the Democrats and what they say and try to oppose having an ID to vote. Like, what could they possibly say? And if they say stupid things, then we all amplify. The new media is going to amplify it and show that to the American people and continue to highlight and amplify that the Democrats are a party of no values or morals.
Yeah. I heard a representative earlier today on Fox Business, I believe, who was coming up with some very interesting ideas. I'm looking at her right now.
Our next guest after the break is going.
I watched it. I saw that video earlier today, and I was like, "Oh, if she comes on today, I have to ask her about that." There she is.
I've known our fabulous Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna for a while now, and actually the way that I back in the day, I was just someone that like saw her on Twitter when she was first rising. I was like, man, this person's awesome. And then I got to know her, and she actually is as awesome as she appears online. And if she gets bans the insider trading, man, it's for once we got a congressperson able to do something meaningful and significant. She's been an absolute rock star. So just
be ready, because when Representative Luna gets here, where she's here, I mean, on camera, get ready, because we're going to a lot of different places and a lot of good things that are going on, because quite honestly, I mean, as everybody knows, she's fearless. Like, let's get it done and let's go. And if we're going to have people that are going to talk a talk, but they're not going to walk it, well, she's ready to walk it and get things done. So
it's kind of crazy to think that Charlie Crist used to be in that seat.
Charlie Crist,
quite contrast.
The last time I checked, didn't Charlie Crist? He brought back the Whig Party.
Isn't he running? Isn't he running for mayor now? Is he running for mayor? He's running for St. Pete mayor now. This dude is just like, he won't die. He's a cockroach.
Well, politically, we're talking politically.
FBI politically. I know we're in the Capitol. I got the backup. Yes, peacefully. He hasn't died.
Thank you.
It's just he's.
I hear the music. It's time for the break. It's time for the break. Sorry about it. All right. We'll get the latest from the Florida's Voice newsroom coming up, and more from the Capitol. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew. So here we go. First day on the job. You got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops builds specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jackimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead and in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and as the kids say it, Insta. So you can check us out here as we are live from the Capitol. We're going to wait just a few more minutes before we do the top of the news from Anita Padilla and the Florida's Voice newsroom. But I just wanted to play this clip real fast before I bring in our next guest. And this is from the ranking member, Democrat, Mr. McGovern, who wanted to let people know that.
Now, Republicans know their ideas are unpopular. They see the writing on the wall this November. And instead of trying to win fair and square, they don't want to, they want to cheat.
Okay. So he just wants to let everybody know that the reason why the Republicans are looking at the SAVE Act the way they're looking at it right now is they're trying to pass it so that they can cheat on the elections. I wonder what Representative Anna Paulina Luna thinks about that. Oh, look at this. She's standing, sitting right in front of me. Not standing. I would hate if you were standing. What do you think about that? First of all, good to see you. How's everything?
Well, if I'm standing, I'm already doing more than a sentence. Right?
Nice. So that's the Representative Jim McGovern, who's like, yeah, you only want to pass the SAVE Act because you all want to cheat. That's what it is.
You know, I actually, I call that type of mentality and that perspective blue and on. It's this like crazy conspiracy theory that we're trying to steal the midterms. And that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that Trump is doing this because he wants to take over and just like this really ooga booga perspective. But, you know, I say, well, let's play into that mentality and mindset for a second, because even if you're afraid of that, what do you want? Voter ID. And I mean, you come back at them with that and then they're like, and then they pull out their invisible box. It's like, racist. And then when you talk about the racist aspect, well, it's Jim Crow era laws is what they say. Chuck Schumer said that I was literally pushing Jim Crow era laws because I'm trying to force this through the Senate. And it was funny because the Democrat Party, if you know history, championed the Jim Crow era laws. Barack Obama was handing out his voter ID when he went to actually vote. So are you saying that Barack Obama is then pushing Jim Crow era laws? I don't think so. So, it's been interesting because what they don't want is what their own base wants, which is over 73% of, 73% of Democrats want voter ID. Over 80% of Americans across the board want voter ID. Is like the most bipartisan thing, I think, from banning insider trading. That's something else that I'm also championing right now. But it's so crazy because it's just like it doesn't matter what it is. We could literally find the cure for cancer and then they'll find a way of basically saying or trying to kibosh it. So we're going to get it done in the House, but now it's on Thune. And I see so many senators now that realize it's a very popular issue. And so they're getting on board with it. And then you see Lisa Murkowski, who is allegedly a Republican, right? I don't think so, but she's over there. She's saying, well, I can't get this behind this. Here's why. And then, out came her voting record. And it turns out in 2021, she voted for something very similar. So these people are all over the place. But this is why Americans hate Congress so much. It's really why to the Senate. If you ask people who they know, their top representatives, who can they name? They can name the president, right? President Trump. Who I think is now one of the most famous men in the world, according to some stuff that I saw. They can name him and they can maybe name a couple senators, maybe a couple House members, but a majority of people just don't know what's going on in the Senate. And then you look at how just geriatric that place is. Yeah. So we need younger people to shake it up.
Yeah. And maybe that's the fear of talking filibusters. Maybe the fear of talking filibusters is because they won't be able to stand and talk for very long.
Oh yeah. I think in general, a lot of these people look for the easy way out and they're like, oh, if we don't have the votes, we're not even going to try. What a defeatist and loser perspective, like a total loser mentality. You're not even going to try. But also too, a lot of people are like, what the heck's a talking filibuster? What's a filibuster in general? People might not know what that is. It's basically how Congress was supposed to function, where you go and you basically argue your points until the point of exhaustion. We have one job. Vote yes or no or present. That's literally the only job that we have. I'm finding a lot of people up here, though, are extremely transactional and they're not really idealists, to be honest with you. Yeah. But we do try to make it, as good. We're good given the hand that we're dealt and, move from there.
Right. No doubt. Representative Anna Paulina Luna is joining us here on Florida's Voice. So here we go from the SAVE Act, another one of those I want to die on the 97 or 3 hill or 80-20 hill, which is such an amazing...
like an 80-20 issue.
Well, it's like the you get me started on the Obamacare issue because the Obamacare healthcare issue and the fact that the subsidies and it's not affordable and everything. Do you really want to die on that hill? Do you really want to have this?
Well, it's so interesting because they say it's about affordability, but a majority of these people are actually getting paid by these insurance companies and or pharmaceutical, whatever it might be. And so this affects a small group of Americans, but it's really beneficial, not for those Americans. If they really wanted to make it beneficial, they'd say, hey, you know, like do exactly what President Trump had suggested and giving them the money directly instead. And they don't want to do that. They want to help these massive insurance companies. And so I actually don't take any money from pharma. I'm very selective about the money that I take on certain issues, but she's like, you know, that's the whole fakeness about propaganda. And you hope that people are smart enough to see through it, which thank goodness my voters are, and a majority of voters are, but it's just, why do you like, this is just, it's so perverse as opposed to what it was originally supposed to be up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to shift to something you mentioned a little earlier in insider trading and of all of that. What's the reaction been lately on that? I mean, obviously you were talking about it.
I'm the reason, along with Tim Burchett and a few other members of Congress, like maybe less than 10 members of Congress, the reason why this is even happening is because of us.
Yeah.
We basically were like, we're going to do a discharge petition. You know, what I found up here is if you don't play their game, right? Like I famously voted down FISA last Congress because in the current form, it's not constitutional. It's warrantless surveillance. And as a result of that, they kept me off House Armed Services. They were trying to punish me with my committee assignments, of which I ended up really enjoying my current one, which is Foreign Affairs. So I don't know who got the short end of the stick on that one because it wasn't me. But I could have done 3. I have 2. I have oversight in Foreign Affairs right now. And they try to punish me with it. But, you know, as a result, they'll try to hold back your legislation, you know, and so we still have, and I read the rule manual twice, so I know all the rules of the House and I can play the game. And I constantly do, if you see how I maneuver up here, and they hate that. They're like, Luna, please, like, don't do discharge, don't do. And I'm like, guys, this is not like, I'm not trying to screw you here. This is true legislation, and this is in their rule book for a reason. And what you're telling me to do is not do my job. And so it's always funny having those arguments. But the discharge petition is basically a way of collecting signatures to get legislation to the floor, and you need 218. So we did a discharge petition to collect those signatures. Both Democrats and Republicans signed on. And then there was like this massive opposition from both leadership in the House, so GOP leadership, but then also to Hakeem Jeffries to kill the legislation because they want it to still happen. And this is like one of those, this is not even an 80-20 issue. This is like a 90-10 issue. Right. And the 10% exists here in Washington, D.C. within the chamber, right? And so I think that these are the types of issues that I've been able to champion. President Trump is fully behind the banning insider trading for members of Congress because Nancy Pelosi, 17,000% return, outperforming Warren Buffett and the S&P. Members, on average, guarantee return on their stocks. If they're doing it, doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, they're making 600% returns. So the corruption has to stop.
Right.
You know, I talked to someone today, I won't say who, and they're like, well, Congress is just going to figure out, members of Congress are so damn corrupt, they're just going to figure out another way to cheat the system. And, you know, maybe they're correct, but then I'll figure out another way to clean the system up. So, so it's like a game of cat and mouse.
I'm all right with that.
But we're going to get it. We're going to have a vote probably around the time of the State of the Union, and then it'll kick it to the Senate. And then again, you know, the Senate, oh, we want to do all this stuff. Those guys are so full of themselves. And you can see it. It's just like, I don't understand what they do. They're like, oh, we can't do the talking filibuster, and we're going to waste all the time that we have for floor debate. What? Like, I'm sorry, you guys barely show up for work. What are you talking about?
But this is the kind of thing. So before we go, here's the thing. A couple of things about you. Number one, you're the kind of person that they worry about up here getting off the sidelines and in the game because you're going to push all those right buttons, all the things. Right,
I'm
exactly.
Like, beep, beep,
right.
Beep, beep,
And
yeah.
so, which I love, and everybody does, you know, and then the other side of it too is, because I want to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I've had conversations with our friend Dan Bongino. I've had conversations with other people about the fact that sometimes when it comes down to a lot of the battles that are happening, it's about the transparency. It's like, look, we're going to find out exactly who you are as soon as this vote comes to the floor. If you're not going to do it, we're going to know why, and we're going to have answers there. And sometimes, or if it comes to getting people, if it's an indictment or something to that effect, with whether it's the Russia collusion hoax or even 2020 in the questions, sometimes it's all about opening it up. Like just opening up the books so everybody can see what happened.
Yeah.
We know what they did. And now you just have to lay it on the table.
A lot of people are just like, you know, especially because I'm talking about the transparency, and they're like, well, why aren't you arresting someone? Congress doesn't have the ability to arrest in the sense that the DOJ was. We only have one authority. It's inherent contempt. And that's only if someone violates basically a subpoena.
Yeah.
And that's it. The rest of this has to be the actual law enforcement mechanism. And that's not housed within Congress. That's housed within the DOJ. But what's so interesting is I feel like I represent Pinellas County, yes, but I have a national platform. So I have a lot of people, and I listen to kind of people's concerns across the nation. And so, sometimes I get accused, if I do go public with certain information, they're like, oh, well, you're bullying people on the internet. I'm like, I'm not bullying people. I'm literally just being honest about what's going on. Like, that's not bullying people. Like, maybe you guys could listen to your constituents. It's called a representative, not king or queen.
Right. Exactly.
So, anyways, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, I'm glad you had a few minutes to join us.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Perfect.
We'll see you again soon. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Representative Anna Paulina Luna joining us here on Florida's Voice. Appreciate a few minutes of her time. It's quite busy around here. What else we got going on today here on Florida's Voice? All right. Let's see. One of the things that I wanted to mention and I wanted to play here quickly had to do with something that took place yesterday. And look, when it comes to this, to me was just funny. And there were people while the White House press secretary was speaking, and she's doing a briefing with the press. And for some reason, the press is getting all upset because the president invited individuals to the White House, but I guess they weren't any Democrats, and people are questioning why. And so, like, we have to do this right now. Like, we're going to have to answer these questions, I guess. So,
look, I just spoke with the president about this. It is a dinner at the White House. It's the people's house. It's also the president's home. And so he can invite whomever he wants to dinners and events here at the White House.
Like, I just want to stop for a second. Like, this is a thing. This is a thing for them right now. Why wouldn't you? Well, now when you get to the why didn't he? I mean, it's his house. He has the choice. But
I believe Governor Moore was invited last year, and he did not show up to the dinner last year. Nobody reported on it. But again, the president has the discretion to invite whomever he wants to the White House, and he welcomes all those who received an invitation to come. And if they don't want to, that's their loss.
Yeah, that is their loss. So we seem to forget about that part of it and that aspect of the story. The fact that when the governor, Democrat governor, Moore was invited to the dinner, and decided that he wasn't going to go. There's that. I only wanted to play that because, to me, D, you know what it is, D? It's like one of those things where it's just like petty. Like, why are we doing this? The Democrats, D, aren't going to show up, right? So it's only an opportunity for them to kind of try to hit at the president. It's that TDS stuff going on.
What else are they going to do?
Well, exactly. What else? They would have nothing else to do. Well, maybe they would sleep, because I'll tell you, one of the great places to take a nap sometimes, just ask Jerry Nadler, is right there on the dais as you're speaking with the Attorney General of the United States. And anyway, we'll maybe show that video again later. That might even rank as one of the it would be a great top 5 audio clip, but there's no audio. It's just him sleeping. So anyway, we'll get to that maybe another time. I'm just looking at the time to see how much we have. Anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Of course, don't forget about Right Line, another great place to go. Your national stories and our show that we have, you can go to rightlinenews.com and check out the stories there as well anytime you want. And we talk even over the weekend. So we got a weekend show that we're doing, Right Line, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. And we've got great stations around the country taking on the program. So everything is all about making sure you have the information that you need, whether it is in the state of Florida or nationally. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we've got more going on here from the Capitol. Cannot wait to tell you who's coming up in just a few more minutes, scheduled to join us as a House vote and the Senate discussion on the SAVE Act continues, and what we're going to do next. All right. All coming up. My name is Drew Steele. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these firsthand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story, ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
You sneaker.
Every great partnership begins with the first step,
Let's go.
guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy, you raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose, give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on JNC Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, JNC Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to check us out, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. You know, I was thinking about this before. I'm going to leave this up to D. This is a D executive decision. I'm going to leave it to him. Instead of making the decision myself, even though the name on the bottom, yeah, I get, don't do the name on the bottom thing. Just tell me yes or no. You know, we didn't get a chance to do top of the news because we usually do it at the bottom of the hour, but we didn't get a chance to do top of the news because Representative Anna Paulina Luna joined us. So I'm wondering, do you think we want to play it now, or do we want to just move on and we play something else? I'm going to give it, because we're on the road, we're at the Capitol. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that are happening. I'm giving you the decision. So you could tell
We
me
can
now?
play it now unless there's something pressing we need to get to.
I don't think there's anything pressing to get to at the moment.
All right, let's run the news.
Okay, well then let's. All right, so let's run the news and
Top of the news. Florida's headlines.
now. Usually on at a different time. It's usually on at okay. Oh, I was just gonna say Anna Paulina Luna has the news. Anita Padilla has the stories. Wow, it's that kind of crazy day. What do we got?
Hey, Drew, a new jobs report is out, but will it spur a drop in interest rates? I'll have that story in just a moment. But first, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer announcing a major drug trafficking conviction today in Fort Myers. Officials say Franklin Laura, described as an illegal alien with ties to the SOAR 13 prison gang, was convicted on meth and fentanyl trafficking charges. This case is part of Operation 13 Tears, a large-scale crackdown targeting a network that moved hundreds of pounds of narcotics into Florida. And authorities say 25 people have now been arrested as a result. And this was a huge bust, too. Investigators say they seized 380 pounds of meth, 48 pounds of fentanyl, and dozens of firearms. Lara faces a minimum of 25 years in prison. New numbers show the U.S. job market started the year stronger than expected. Non-farm payrolls rose by 130,000 in January, and that's more than double what was forecasted. The unemployment rate ticked down, too, to 4.3%. Healthcare led the way, adding 82,000 jobs with gains also in social assistance and construction. And wages climbed as well, 0.4% for the month, putting annual growth at 3.7%. However, the Labor Department also revised prior job totals. Those numbers are down by nearly 900,000 for the previous year. And the markets sure like the news. Analysts say, however, despite the good news, the report may give the Federal Reserve another reason to hold steady on interest rates, at least for now. In other news, lawmakers continue to do the hard work in Tallahassee. Among some of the bills that are moving through the House are two high-profile ones. Lawmakers on two different panels approved a measure designating October 14th as Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance. The special observance would honor the conservative activist and Turning Point USA founder who was fatally shot during an assassination last September in Utah. And that bill now heads to the House floor. A separate proposal would allow armed, unpaid volunteers to provide security at religious institutions without a state security license, as long as they have a valid concealed weapon permit. That measure also advances to a full House vote. Both bills would take effect July 1st if approved. All right, that's it for now. Be sure to head over to flvoicenews.com and sign up for our daily emails. That's how thousands of followers get their news from us. It goes right to their email inbox every single evening. It's a beautiful thing. All right, I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here for Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, AP, thanks for the last minute change of plans there. Appreciate you being available in the Florida's Voice newsroom. All right, don't get used to it. We're not, it's just one of those things. We're on the road. We're at the Capitol right now. More to come. Let's take a break. My name is Drew Steele. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone,
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
but treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back, taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans, making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned, rebuilding communities after disaster strikes, adapting to support today's veterans, meeting them where they are. The VFW, still leading, still advancing, still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here for all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us, standing up for conservatism, giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D is on the other side of the glass back at the studio along with Nina in the breaking news room. I am here in the Capitol right now where we got a very, very, very important vote, the SAVE Act vote, coming up about 5:20-ish today. So members are still here, and so we're going to find out exactly what's going to go down on the House side. I mean, I'm pretty confident we're going to get this across the finish line again on the House side. It's the Senate side that we got to talk about and deal with, and we'll get into all of that as we are here live at the Capitol. Anytime you want to watch, you can see where we are. We got a beautiful room here that we're in the Capitol at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. So you can check it out right now. And speaking of right now, let me have a conversation, if you don't mind, with the Agriculture Commissioner of the state of Florida. Wilton Simpson is joining us right now on Florida's Voice, and I just wanted to make sure that. Let's see what's going on here. Yep, I got to get the standby. I just got to get the phone lines working and get everything happening, and that's going to be in just a second. Stand by. There he is. Okay. We've got him on right now. It's Florida's Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson joining us here. How are you, sir?
I am doing great, Drew.
I'm in the swamp. I'm here.
You are. I was wondering how this was going to go today. You are actually in the swamp.
I am. I'm in the swamp, and yeah, it's an interesting place to be these days. Being in the swamp. So a lot going on. I was hoping that I said to myself, it would be really, really cool if there was one way that I would be able to bring a little warmth to DC. You know, maybe I could warm things up, bring a little Florida. And guess what? Instead of being 10s and 20s, it's 40s today. And I told everybody there, you're welcome, basically is what I said. I don't know if
You're welcome. That's right. Well, while you're there, Drew, work with our congressional delegation to get our block grant for the freeze that we just had in Florida. We probably lost $1 billion worth of, food to growers in the last 10 days. Yeah. And I've obviously talked to our USDA. I've talked to Brooke Rollins. We've talked to Kat Kamek. We've talked to Rick Scott and Ashley Moody and others about this process. And our farmers were really devastated. I mean, the great freeze of 2026. And so anyways, you're there in the swamp, and maybe while you're there, you could put in a good plug for our Florida farmers and Fresh from Florida. We're working very hard. I was at a blueberry grower's farm earlier today, and some of those fields had 100% loss in them, and some of those fields had 80% loss in them. And,
that right?
And it represents a very large segment of Florida blueberry production. So we're not happy with that, but that's what we have to face now. And that was just the blueberries. Very, very widespread damage in the Florida farming community.
So if you don't mind, I'm just trying to think of where location-wise, is that mostly central Florida? Is that where most of these blueberry farms are?
Lake County area is where this farm was, just in the Lake County area. And but we've had them all over the state. And depending on where they were in the state and depending on the time their blooms come in, could have had different effects. So that's why some farms lost 20 to 40 or 50%, and some lost nearly 100%. And so, yeah, there's a big distortion and disruption in what will be our Florida blueberry season this year. And they're resilient. They're going to come back. If this were the state of Florida, we would react very quickly. And I know I've talked to the White House in the last week or so. And again, I've talked to our congressional delegation. What I have stressed over and over is we need these resources in real time. We need this well before the end of the year. I'd like to get it in the next 3 or 4 months so that these farmers can confidently replant for next year and be able to manage their farms. And we desperately need this agriculture and the farming community in the state of Florida. As you know, it's the second leading driver of the economy in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And 2.5 million people went to work today in agriculture or agriculture related businesses. We're the breadbasket in the wintertime. And, we just got, a major storm freeze, and it really did a lot of damage to our crops.
Yeah, and one of the other things we've talked about before, I'm sure the other parts of agriculture in the state have held up well, but we've talked about not just the food that we grow, but also even I was talking to you one day about olive trees as I was driving through the center of the state. Some of the other products and what we do agricultural wise in the state. There's so much that we do that you always get concerned. I'm always asking you every time we hit this portion of the year where the weather's going to change like this. I'm always looking to find out what you think is going to happen. And unfortunately, as we see this case in particular, it looks like it was pretty we were pretty hard hit.
Very, very hard hit. And just to put it on the scale, this is just like a hurricane hit your farming community.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Ago.
Yep, to your point. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody feels it during a hurricane, obviously, because of the wind and the flooding and the rain and everything. This, between the droughts and this freeze, the 3-day freeze, this is as bad as any hurricane could have done to the state of Florida for our farmers. And so, we've been ravaged by hurricanes in the last 4 years. We just finally got the grant, the $600 million block grant money in. So those monies will be going to those farmers that suffered hurricane losses. And just about the time that's coming, and we're in the middle of our earnings season and growing season for this year, we get hit with this freeze. And it was a combination of the winds and the cold weather. When you're below 32 degrees for 6, 7, 8 hours, and in a few of those days, one of those days we had 40, 50 mile an hour gusts. It just did a lot of crop damage, a lot of tree damage. And, I talked about blueberries, but citrus sustained damage. And then many of our other row crops sustained damage. And, we could go down the list of them. But we had damage from aquaculture, our plant industry, horticulture had major damage. So Florida farmers got set back. And again, the good news is they're resilient. But I can tell you this really hurts to the core, to our farmers. I hope that we can get the assistance we need. And I know, here's what I do know. I know that President Trump loves our farmers. I know that he's going to do everything he can to support our farmers. I know that Brooke Rollins is on top of this. She's doing an amazing job. And I know that our delegation have all signed our congressional delegation has signed a letter of support. So I think we've got at least some momentum here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to continue to work with all of those folks to try to get this done and get it done through a block grant through the Department of Agriculture here in the state.
Yeah.
So that we can get these resources quickly to our farmers.
Yeah. Well, sir, I'm going to jump. I've got one of the people that you mentioned, Representative Kat Cammack, is sitting right in front of me right now. So we can.
Kat Cammack is a great supporter of agriculture.
Well, wait,
and,
she's gonna put the headphones on so you can hear him. Here, hold on a second. I'm going to have her put the headphones on, and let's shoot. Here we are. Okay, there. Now you can hear each other. All right, perfect.
What's up, Wilton?
Okay. How are you, Kat? I was just telling Drew what a great supporter of agriculture you are, and how you're really the tip of the spear there for us in Washington. And our farmers have been really devastated through the freeze, and we're all going to fight the good fight together. And and so it's good to hear from you and know that you're on the show today.
Oh, well, appreciate you, my friend. And yes, I mean, this is worse than many of the hurricanes that you and I have worked together. And when we talk about the importance of Florida agriculture, people tend to forget that it's the number 2 driver of our state's economy. And I appreciate everything that you're doing. And, you know, Wilton and I, we have an affinity for chickens. I don't know if you knew that, but we're just some chicken farmers. Him far more successful than myself.
Nice.
I'm not sure about that, but yes, we both have. When she first did her commercials through when she was running for Congress, she used the chickens in the commercial, and I thought, this is my lady. This is the person I need to be supporting. And so she had me from hello.
There you go. Excellent. All right, well, we're gonna jump, sir.
All right, Drew.
All the best.
Thank
God
you,
bless.
sir.
We'll see you soon.
I'll see you, Wilton.
Wilton Simpson joining us on Florida's Voice. Kat Kamek sitting in front of me. Congresswoman, wow. First of all, what a day today. It's great to see you again.
Thank you.
Oh boy. All right. So I just, this.
Welcome to Washington.
Yeah, the swamp is kind of
swampy.
Yeah, it is. And dealing with what we have to deal with today with this vote in the SAVE Act and the fact that we're doing this and having this discussion about something that even Democrats are for in a majority in their own party. How do I put this politely? I guess it just shows you how few voices there are here that speak for the party as a whole, I guess, because how do you do this? It's like a minority of voices that are loud, or is it just the party, the Democrats as a whole? Are they just taken over by the idea that even when their constituents are like, yeah, we agree with that, we're okay with that, because even for Democrats, it helps them. I mean, if you want to secure elections, for example, I mean, this helps you too. So why would you not be for this?
No, candidly, if President Trump came out against it, they'd be for it.
There you go. Boom.
That's what it is.
That's the answer.
I mean, it doesn't matter how rational, common sense, basic an idea is, how many people, 99.9% of Americans could be behind an idea. And if President Trump is behind it, the left says absolutely not. And they will justify it by any means necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, right now you have many people in the Democrat Party going out and calling American women stupid because apparently under this bill, we're not going to be able to vote. They haven't even read this dang bill. They don't know what it actually does. But when you explain it to them, they just start screaming, oh, well, Trump, 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 Trump. I mean, they just have the most advanced case of Trump derangement syndrome I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so honestly, the best thing that we could do is just have the president come out against it, and then all the Democrats would be for it, and it'd sail across the finish line.
Isn't that crazy? It's like I was talking last week. I was joking around, and maybe it was even Monday, and I was joking about Trump RX and saying that, here's a way to save money on prescription meds, and there will be Democrats that won't go to the site and do it because of Trump derangement syndrome. Like they'll lose money because it's Trump's name on it.
1,000%. I was in a briefing today, and it was it was a classified briefing, so I can't get into what the content was, but Trump RX was mentioned by one of my Democrat colleagues. And they started complaining about how Trump was bringing down the price of prescription drugs.
They were complaining about it.
Complaining about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish that I could have the American people hear this. Because it was just so crazy to me that, they're so, in many ways, deranged when it comes to whatever the president does. And it doesn't matter what the topic is. It really is Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, I don't know how, I've had this conversation most of the day today about how sometimes there are going to be things that are going to happen in this place where it's all about transparency, and it's going to be all about showing everybody in the country who the Democrats are. You may not get the indictment you're looking for, or you may not get the bill passed that you're looking for. But if you get people on the record and you show them who they are, then ultimately you just have to leave it up to the American people.
Exactly.
Yeah. But they have to see it.
Exactly. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I've been such a big proponent of single issue bills, right? Give us at least 72 hours to read the bills and then make them single issue bills, because every issue deserves to stand or fall on its own merit. And if take the president out of it completely. If you put that bill on the floor and some progressive on the left says, I don't support this, let them answer for that. Don't let them hide behind Trump is bad, right? And fight and obstruct. Let people have their day on the floor. And so I hope that we can get to that place where we're more in the merits of a single issue bill. But the way things are going, man, it is a slog.
Yeah.
It is a slog, and every bill is a Christmas tree. And there are no presents.
Yeah, for
This turn.
Representative Kat Kamick joining us here on Florida's Voice. You were mentioning, I was just mentioning Trump RX, and I know you were talking about that today about healthcare, having that conversation. And so what are some of the things right now that we're working on as well with healthcare that we're trying to help the American people with?
So I will tell you, I am encouraged. Healthcare is a huge priority because I don't believe that we have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system, and the system is really designed around this culture of maintenance of chronic conditions rather than prevention of them. And so what we did with the, some people call it the One Big Beautiful Bill, some call it the Working Families Tax Cut, was we did a historic investment into rural health. Now, Florida, when people think of Florida, they often think about like Naples or Miami or Orlando, and they fail to realize that the majority of the state is actually rural of our 67 counties. And so Florida got a huge chunk of money that we saved by rooting out a lot of waste and fraud and abuse in the system. And $209 million has been directed to Florida. And I was just before coming to you meeting with our rural community health centers and talking about how we're actually going to deliver on primary care, some management systems, maternal health, some issues around mental health. I mean, my goodness, talk about Trump derangement syndrome.
Right.
I mean, that exposed the mental health crisis in this country in a big way.
Yes, it did.
But that is something I think is going to be transformational. So I was really proud that was something that we worked on in the health committee. So healthcare, huge priority. You'll see a lot of elements addressed this year in that space. But I know, and this could be controversial, but I think that there really is an affordability crisis because we just came out of 4 years of Biden economics where inflation was historic, and you just can't turn things around on a dime. It's like turning an aircraft carrier. So people are still feeling those effects. And a big part of that is we have very low inventory of homes and rates are still too high. And of course, the president has been very aggressive on trying to bring, encourage the Fed to lower rates.
Right.
But today we just introduced a bill called the Nest Act that would allow first-time home buyers to save for their down payment on their home tax-free.
Oh.
And of course, the swamp creatures up here are super pissed.
Yeah, right? Wow. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So what about this?
So that's a huge priority because not only is home affordability, a huge issue, but that is the cornerstone of the American dream. And that is generational wealth. That's jobs. That's how you build strong communities. And so introducing this bill, it's called the Nest Act. It was really rooted in the idea that you should be able to save for your down payment, that 20% to avoid your PMI, tax-free. And when we started kicking this around, all these groups started loving on it. But then, of course, the swamp creatures up here were like, oh, you're taking money out of our pocket. And I'm like, oh, it's not your money. I forgot. I'm not supposed to whisper anymore. Joe Biden really ruined that for everybody.
It's no fun. Yeah, it's no fun anymore now. It's all right. But that to me, I guess in a lot of ways, there are a lot of people still here in the Capitol who are thinking the Biden years and thinking, listen, you'll own nothing and like it. Like that's the mentality.
Yes.
So now to do this is the complete 180.
Yes. I mean, but think about it. The left's agenda has always been about dependency and control.
Yeah.
They want people dependent on big government programs so that they, the big government advocates, stay in control.
Right.
And when you talk about home ownership, that's taking away that dependency and control. And something that I think is really cool about this as well is that your employer can contribute to this fund tax-free. Talk about an incentive to really start building relationships in an era where everybody's on the gig economy and people are moving left, right, and center. This is a way to really kind of establish that nest and that community, and your employer can be a part of that. And so I thought that was a nice little touch in there. But Yeah, talk about the swamp creatures at work, man. They do not like it when you mess with their monopoly money.
Yeah, it's true, right? All of it. I mean, everything. But then you really find out who your quote unquote friends are. You start to realize, what you're in it for, what you're doing here, what you stand for. And even after I'm there, here I'm going, taking a tangent here.
Yeah, you are.
And even when we start talking, like when I'm looking at the Super Bowl and I'm looking at the halftime show and all the discussion about that and the one side versus the other in the Bad Bunny versus the Kid Rock show and everything. And it's one vision of the country and another vision of the country. And, we have to really recognize, what has been there in the past 4 years, Obama years, how everything was, how people were indoctrinated into believing that the country is founded. And then you go into all of this, but even here you find out just in the business of the day, you find out what people are all about. And ultimately, when you're dying on a hill of these crazy, obvious, come on now, this is a slam dunk for the country. And may I remind everybody again, when you go to Trump RX, if you're a Democrat, you could even go there. It's not nobody's excluding you from visiting the site. And
You too can save.
Yeah, seriously. But that's like the micro of the macro, right? Because again, to the Trump derangement, or even to Republicans or anything like that, it's just. It's just crazy. Before we go, I know you're so busy and you got to run, but before we go, I did want to go back to Florida and your constituents and, concerning the farmers and agriculture. Have you talked to people? Obviously you have.
Yeah.
And how bad was it?
Terrible. This is devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking total loss on sweet corn, total loss on blueberries, total loss sugar.
Yeah, William said it was 100 in some places, 100%.
100% loss. Yeah, 100% loss on blueberries. My team has been out at multiple operations this entire week looking at the damage. And the thing with agriculture, and this is what's so frustrating, and I serve as the only representative on House Agriculture for the entire state. And so it's not just my district, it's the entire state that we're looking out for. And Florida is home to 300 specialty crops. We have a huge cow-calf operation. We have incredible when it comes to aquaculture, but our specialty crops, man, oh my goodness, they took a beating. And this is after consistent storm and loss and USDA to this day. And this was under, maybe we can go back 15 years. The USDA has never deployed a strike team to the state of Florida, despite the fact that we have taken Cat 3s, 4s, and 5s and experienced the most devastating pressures and losses in agriculture. Now, pair that up with the fact that we feed 193 million Americans during the winter months.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right.
And so for the next several weeks, we're going to be paying attention to what's called the drop, right? Because sometimes you've got crops that, they'll look fine for a few days after a freeze. But then you're going to experience drop, fruit will fall from the tree, other things will happen, there'll be root damage. And so on Friday this week, we're doing a statewide listening session because Farm Bill is coming back up and we want to make sure that we're delivering and meeting the moment for our producers.
Good.
But, Drew, you said something, and I know we got to wrap up, but you said something earlier about not having friends. And, everyone knows the saying, you come to Washington, you want a friend, just kidding, get a dog, right?
Right.
You really know about people.
Yeah.
Watch this insider trading deal.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will do that. Great to see you. I'm so glad you had a few minutes. It's a crazy day.
Yeah.
I know we got lots of movement over here for the Capitol. Representative Kat Kamick joining us here on Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare. And that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. Got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops build specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jackimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch, we are live at the Capitol, Washington, D.C., not Tallahassee Capitol. We're at the Capitol, Washington, D.C. I probably should have stressed that. All right, let's do this. Top of the news in the Florida's Voice newsroom.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
And we got Anita Padilla, who's got the last for today. Let's find out what she's working on. What's up?
Hey there, Drew. We are expecting more details after the FAA lifts a sudden flight restriction over El Paso. And this is linked to cartel drone activity. I'll have more on that story in just a moment. But first, we've got new numbers, and they show the U.S. job market started the year stronger than expected. Non-farm payrolls rose by 130,000 in January, and that's more than double what had been forecasted. And the unemployment rate ticked down to 4.3%. Healthcare led the way, adding 82,000 jobs. There were also gains in social assistance and construction. Wages climbed as well, 0.4% for the month, putting annual growth at 3.7%. However, the Labor Department also revised some prior job totals. Those numbers are down by nearly 900,000 for the previous year. But the markets sure like the news, moving higher on it. Analysts, however, say the report may give the Federal Reserve another reason to hold steady on interest rates, at least for now. Florida's Attorney General James Uthmeyer announcing a major drug trafficking conviction today in Fort Myers. Officials say Franklin Laura, described as an illegal alien with ties to the SUR 13 prison gang, was convicted on meth and fentanyl trafficking charges. Now, this case is part of Operation 13 Tears, a large-scale crackdown targeting a network that moved hundreds of pounds of narcotics into Florida. Authorities say 25 people have now been arrested. And listen to this, because this was a huge bust. Investigators ended up seizing 380 pounds of meth, 48 pounds of fentanyl, and dozens of firearms. Lara faces a minimum of 25 years in prison. All right, let's talk about that FAA story. It has lifted a temporary flight restriction that grounded all planes in and out of El Paso International Airport Tuesday night. Now, this closure was triggered after Mexican cartel drones breached U.S. airspace, prompting a military response. Officials say the Department of War took action to disable the drones, and the FAA determined that there was no ongoing threat to commercial travel. That restriction, which also affected Santa Teresa, New Mexico, had been set to last through February 20th. That's why a lot of people were very concerned, but that's all been lifted now. Even still, if you are traveling today by air, you are urged to check with your airline for the latest flight information. All right, that's it for me for now. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, let's toss it back over to you.
All right, tossed and caught, kind of, sort of, I guess, maybe. All right, anytime you want to check out the stories that they are working on there in the Florida's Voice newsroom, very simple. You just go to flvoicenews.com. A friendly Florida face is what we're looking at right now. It's always good to see a friendly Florida face. Congressman Daniel Webster joining us here on Florida's Voice. How are you, sir?
Good. All's well.
All is well. It is. It's always interesting here in the swamp, as opposed to being in the swamps of Florida, for sure. SAVE Act, working on that today. Obviously, a lot of people talking about it. It's the big talk, your thoughts on what has been going on here recently with that?
Well, I think it's a pretty logical type piece of legislation. I mean, 80% of the people support it. They want to make sure that the people voting in the elections are American citizens. And part of that is checking that out, and that takes some kind of identification. So some kind of ID card is the way to check it out. So I think it's pretty good. I mean, you take a look at all of the things you have to do and have some kind of ID in order to do them. I mean, getting into a town hall by some of the senators there, and one of the senators in Georgia, he requires that. They want to check them out, see who they are. It's kind of typical of what goes on. So I don't think it's any, and I think that's why the public supports it. They want people that live in America, are citizens of America, and they vote.
Yeah, absolutely. Does it drive you crazy sometimes when you have certain people, certain Democrats who just don't even want to vote with their party? I mean, you have 71% of Democrats who would agree with the idea that we should have voter ID, the SAVE Act. They understand securing elections is not just a Republican thing. It should be a Democrat thing as well. But yet you have people here in the Capitol who are willing to vote against their constituents. To me, it seems illogical at best.
Yeah, well, I'm a trained engineer. I went to Georgia Tech, got a degree there. I like dealing with the truth and dealing with facts.
Yeah.
Most of this stuff we do up here, it's like we back a dump truck load of money up to a hole and dump it in there and hope it falls into something that'll be good. That's why I'm drawn to infrastructure. If we're doing, if it's roads, if it's concrete, steel, and made out of things you can touch, it's a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think about, if you don't mind me taking a second and to step back, because, I think about your time in Florida, and I think about your time. Were you the first Republican Florida Speaker of the House? Is that
I was.
You were
in
exactly
122 years.
That's right. I mean, I remember that, and so working with the Florida legislature at the time, as opposed to working here in this environment. What was that like back then, and even how it's working here now?
Well, first of all, the decimal place has moved a little bit to the left in that there's more zeros in DC than there are in the state.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with smaller amounts of money and
Sure.
so forth. Plus, our problems are a little more confined. They're confined to Florida, and certainly we have a diverse population and a diverse problem set, but not near what the whole United States is. And so that too makes it a little bit different. And then it's easier to know everybody there.
Yeah.
And so things get a little out of hand here. But I think
a little out of hand here. That is being kind and generous, sir.
Well, I think it's definitely a lot more partisan than it was in the Florida legislature.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of people that are actually here now. They were there.
Right.
And I don't think that they're any different, except when it just comes to voting, they follow the queue, whatever it is.
Yeah, I can see that, no doubt. All right, sir. Well, listen, we've got, is Byron coming in here, Congressman? There he is. Oh, he's right there. Sorry, I was looking at the door. All right, we've got Congressman Byron Donalds coming in right now. But I'm so glad we had a few minutes to talk. I know that there's so much work to do here. You've been fantastic. And we're looking forward to the next time we can have a conversation. And I know we'll be doing that very, very soon. So all the best. God bless.
Thank you.
All right.
Good being on.
Congressman Daniel Webster joining us here on Florida's Voice. Appreciate a few minutes of his time today. We got Congressman Byron Donalds, who's making his way over as well. And lots going on here in the Capitol. Okay, here he is. Dun, 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 dun.
My main man, Drew Steele.
Wow.
You still got to wear your badge?
I don't know. They gave me a
You
badge.
got your house security. You know you could take that off for the interview, right?
Don't know. Well, I thought it was cool.
No.
Okay. Goodbye. Enough of that. Things are heating up around here a little bit.
A little.
Everything's gonna be fine with the vote in a little bit, right? I mean, we're gonna be okay with the SAVE Act. It's just the Senate we got to deal with.
Yeah, we'll pass it off tonight. We'll pass it out. The Senate's going to have to deal with it and take it up. And look, the Democrats are going to oppose common sense. This is what they do. We're accustomed to this now. But we have, some Senate Republicans who have to get real.
Yeah,
they got to get real about the reality in the state of America today.
Well, let me ask you that, because the thing is, as I'm having conversations with people, it's so obvious that the House is looking at the filibuster, and it's like, can we just not do this? When Democrats get in, so let's stop. And then you have good, sensible senators that are like, why can't we just let them talk? Let them talk themselves out. Let's do what they do in the process by which we do things here in Congress. This is a thing. It's not like this is something just made up. Let them talk it out as they have before in the past, and then ultimately, then we can vote on it.
I agree. I think they need to talk. They need to debate.
Right.
One of the things that is really frustrating about Congress is there's actually not a lot of debate between Republicans and Democrats, or even Republicans and Republicans. There's actually not a lot of it at all.
Yeah.
So if the Senate Democrats have to go to the Senate floor and explain to the American people through speeches why they oppose voter ID, which 80% of the American people support, let them.
Right.
Force their hand and make them do that. Because I think what it would also illustrate is the pure lack of common sense and rational thought that exists in the Democrat Party. And I think you'll even hear in their arguments that they're trying to just pull at the heartstrings of people, who are compassionate and empathetic to others, but they're using that to create a policy agenda that doesn't work for the American people. So then we're dealing with the other side of that coin. People are frustrated and feeling disenfranchised and feeling displaced and all those other things. I'm hearing today the Democrats first tried to use voter ID as a racist thing. And they found out like 80% of Black people support it. So now they're trying to say it's an attack on women.
Right.
And they're just searching for something because they oppose it. And we have to call their bluff. They have to go to the Senate floor. They have to debate, be on the record about why they believe what they believe.
The craziest thing, what was the latest one? Somebody's going to get married and their last name is going to change, and then how are they going to vote? It's like, first of all, could you be more condescending towards people in general, full stop? And then you have the idea that, you're going to get married and your last name is going to change, and you don't know what day you're going to get married, and you don't know what day the election is. And by the way, there's plenty of time to do it and mail in, and it's so over the top ridiculous. I think people just, when they hear that, they reject that out of hand.
This is the same party that thinks that men can get pregnant.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got me there. So I guess
this is what we're dealing with here, and which is why I think, for Republicans, especially Senate Republicans, enough of the hiding behind a cloture vote in the Senate. Call the Democrats to the carpet. Make them make a decision on behalf of the American people. Make them make a decision. I think people should understand the history of the filibuster. The original filibuster, as it currently occurs, happened under Woodrow Wilson's presidency. He's probably the worst president we've ever had. People think Joe Biden was bad.
Yeah.
Woodrow Wilson was worse.
Right.
It was a 67 vote threshold in the Senate to break a filibuster. In 1975, I think is the year, they changed the threshold from 67 to 60. And the reason they did that is because they couldn't break filibusters. That's why they did it.
Wow.
And so it's been at 60 ever since. And I get the concerns. Well, what happens if the Democrats take full control? They're going to have the trifecta. They're going to do all these things. And I'm here to tell you, I serve here on Capitol Hill. I've been here the last 5.5 years. They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
The only two people who stopped them from blowing up the filibuster when Joe Biden was president was Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. They're both gone. West Virginia is not going to have another Democrat senator. not for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is the next time they get power in this town, full power, they're going to break the filibuster and they're going to push a radical agenda. DC becoming a state, packing the Supreme Court, making California's abortion laws the law of the land, making California's election laws the law of the land. That is the agenda they are going to push. We have to be prudent and say it's time for us to enact our agenda so the American people can see the difference between common sense conservative policy and insane radical policy.
We're going to hit the break in just a second. Can you hang or do you have
Yeah,
to go?
I got it.
Okay, good. So through the break.
I'm kind of, I'm kind of the boss, so I can.
Okay, awesome. All right, so stay. Boss, do you mind if you get to hang out
Eric
for a bit?
McDonald's is actually in town this week, so the real boss is down there. She gave me permission.
There you go. All right. We'll have more with Congressman Byron Donalds in just a minute. It's Drew Steele. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these firsthand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story, ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton, like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
You sweet.
Every great partnership begins with the first step,
Let's go.
guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy, you raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose, give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are at the Capitol, Washington, D.C. Congressman Byron Donalds hanging out for a few more minutes before we hit the break and before he's got to go vote and before we got a million other things that are going on. Who knows? Let's talk Florida.
Yes.
Let's talk about the state. Let's talk about what's going on. How are things going as far as your run for governor of the great state of Florida?
Things are going very well. We're now about 6.5 months to the primary or so. Listen, having President Trump's support, Senator Rick Scott's support, we added Sheriff Galtieri. He's the latest sheriff that's endorsed us, with Grady Judd and TK Waters and so many other great sheriffs in our state. Sheriff Wayne Ivey, so many great others that we have. So we feel very good about the momentum, but Drew, it's day by day. You just keep working very hard, taking your message to the people of Florida. A little difficult, obviously, having to serve in my role as being a member of Congress and taking care of our business up here. But the campaign's going very well. We're really excited.
Good. And obviously, every once in a while, dipping into what's going on there in Tallahassee and seeing what they're talking about with regard to property tax and the like. And
yeah.
And so keeping an eye on that story. Is that buzzer for us?
No, that's for the House floor.
Okay, good.
So don't feel concerned that they're rushing us out of here.
Okay, I was
scares everybody. Everybody's like, "What's that buzzing?" Are we like? Is it DEFCON 2, or we have to evacuate? No, it's just for the House floor.
Little inside Drew Steele baseball here. We're in a. I'm not sure what
this is the Henry Hyde room in the Capitol.
All right. And on the wall there, we got a bunch of stars, and every once in a while there's a buzz that freaks me out, and I don't know what's going on. And I think I got to run outside because I thought it was like some kind of fire alarm, but that's not exactly. Well, it's kind of a fire alarm for you for when. So what is so I know, again, a little inside Drew Steele baseball, but there's a wall over there, then the buzzer happens, and that's just telling us that we're getting ready, that there's a countdown for a vote.
Yeah, it's basically alerts the members anywhere in the Capitol. There's a countdown for a vote, that there's floor action happening, and then how much time is left in a vote. So they're all sequenced and they buzz periodically. But that's how you know, all right, let me get myself in order. I got to get to the floor.
Yeah, gotcha. And then as far as going back to the state, and we got like a minute and a half, just some of the things that people have been still talking about in session. It's been rolling along pretty well, but obviously the property tax issue, everybody's really concerned about the session going longer and the like. And I'm just wondering your thoughts on the property tax issue, again, for those that maybe haven't heard it before.
Well, look, I want them to be able to put it on the ballot to repeal homestead property taxes. I think that's going to be important for our state, important for affordability. I think at this point, they're probably in the 5th week of legislative session. There's only 9 weeks for all the listeners. There's 9 weeks of legislative session. Typically in Tallahassee, they're in about week 5 or so. I think it's important for, the Senate president, the speaker, and the governor to, sit down and get on the same page and figure out how this thing is going to work. But it needs to get on the ballot. I think the people of Florida really do need relief because property taxes have doubled in our state. And, your home is your home. It shouldn't be a piggy bank for local government.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to hit a break in just a little bit. It's pretty cool to be here. It's not it's the good thing. The good thing about being here this trip is that when I started the week, I was telling everybody was saying it's going to be teens and 20s. You better dress properly. So like, this is the only shirt I brought. Everything else is like sweaters, like it's all pullovers. And so now it's not that cold.
It warmed up a little bit.
Yes,
it did warm up.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You brought Florida.
Thank you.
To the Capitol.
You're the only person that gave me the credit. I've been taking it on my own, but because you said that, thank you for noticing.
You know what that means, right?
What?
That could be the opening salvo for a congressional campaign, Drew.
Is that right? Who's doing that?
I don't know. I've done it, so there's only 2 of us talking. Yeah. Who is doing that?
I have no idea who's thinking about that. Nice. All right, good stuff. All right, there's the music. Great to see you.
Good seeing you, my
Look
friend.
forward to the next time we get together.
Congressman Byron Donald is joining us on Florida's Voice. Let's hit a break. A lot more to come when we come back. It's Drew Steele, live at the Capitol, Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone,
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
but treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on yourself. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back, taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans, making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned, rebuilding communities after disaster strikes, adapting to support today's veterans, meeting them where they are. VFW, still leading, still advancing, still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's rock solid countertops and more. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock solid countertops and more.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you could save a ton, like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military, educating us, standing up for conservatism, giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele, Big D, back in the studio on the other side of the glass, along with Nina in the breaking newsroom, feeding me information all day long because I'm not there. I'm here in the Capitol. Not Tallahassee. I'm in Washington, D.C., where I brought a little bit of warmth. Only Congressman Byron Donalds was brave enough to make the suggestion that maybe I brought the Florida warmth here to the Capitol, although it hasn't been very warm there. Congressman Mike Karadopoulos maybe might give me a little bit of a little kudos. Maybe I brought a little bit of warmth. I mean, a little bit of warmth.
First of all, thank you. We have been brutalized for the last 2 weeks.
You're welcome.
It never got above 20
Sorry,
degrees.
this is getting really weird. That was really strange. Anyway,
it's bad news here. I believe me, I miss Florida. I can't wait to leave on Thursday.
I know. Even the although the cold has been, I mean, obviously, you know, because we had the conversation with Agriculture Commissioner Simpson and even Kat Kamek when she was here, Congresswoman, and you know how the farmers were really hit hard.
Big time.
I didn't realize it until today. He said there were blueberry farms 100% gone.
Done. Yep.
Unbelievable. And so we need.
Al Gore is still trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
sure what happened. And here we are.
That's two. That's twice today. Good for you. Yeah. No, but seriously, they and how important it's going to be to get some help from the
100%
from right here. And I'm sure you've had that conversation.
We have, and you know, Kat is doing a great job. She's kind of our leader on ag issues, as you know. And I serve on financial services. I chair the space committee, of course. But this is a team sport, and we've got 20 great Republican members who all work together to push Florida issues. We're well represented in the White House and the State Department and the Attorney General's office, and we are doing so well. But Florida is a leading state, and fortunately, we have a great team led by Mario Diaz-Balart, who's our leader, along with Vern Buchanan, who unfortunately, of course, is leaving Congress at the end of this term.
Yeah. So in just a little while from now, looking at the clock for where we are right now, we've got this very important vote. I'm sure it's going to be smooth sailing on the House side, hopefully.
Well, other than Thomas Massey, who has lost his mind in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame. And I like, you know, when I was out of politics, I thought Massey was this big conservative, but he has been a thorn in the president's side. And whenever we need to vote for him, he's never there.
Well, what do you think that's all about?
I don't know. I really can't figure out, because I don't talk to him, because he's just so far out there, and he sides with the Democrats. He didn't give a rat about Epstein until this year. Suddenly, this is his number one issue. Remember, we're the ones, Donald Trump's the one who kept that issue alive so we can expose these horrible people who took advantage of these boys and girls. But Massey's been on the wrong side of all these votes. It's caused us to do all types of things. But the good news is the economy is moving in the right direction. Still a long way to go. Yeah. I mean, think about it. The stock market's up, interest rates are down, the gas prices are down. We secured the border. And now we need to make sure we secure our elections. I can't wait to go vote on the SAVE Act. It's common sense, because the very foundation of our government is a logical election system when you know your vote will count. It's one person, one vote.
Right. And not just that, the fact that, like I've brought up to others today, I would assume that even Democrats would like to have a secure election. If you're in a district, let's just say that you have a lot of Democrats there, you would like to know that things are secure, unless you don't. But then we have the question as to why you don't.
Right.
It's and you know, the continuation of the battle here in the Capitol on issues that are 80-20, 90-10. And the side that the Democrats take on and the hills that they want to die on are just, it's crazy. And sometimes it just feels like a lot of, it's either the party is completely lost, like it's gone, which I think you would agree that as far as Democrats are concerned, yeah, it is. It's the Democrat Socialists of America. But then the other side is because Trump. It's like Trump RX. I was joking about half joking about Trump RX. It's like there are going to be lefties in this country who are not going to go to Trump RX and save money because Trump's name's on it.
Again, that TDS is real.
Yeah.
It's just sad. I mean, I call them the George Costanza party, because they whatever Trump does, he does the exact opposite. If you remember that Seinfeld episode, and this is just easy. And the insult to so many people is like, oh my God, we can't change the election rules because people are too dumb to figure this out.
Right.
Like they can't, like, these are the same people who, by the way, do have an ID and go on planes, buy alcohol, check in the hotels. I mean, they obviously have an ID, and all you're doing is doing simple verification, which credit card companies do every single day. Are you an American citizen? It's not hard to figure out.
Right. And so then on the Senate side, then we have to deal with that and how it's going to go. I mean, obviously the House side, you know, you brought up.
We feel good about it. Remember, but we can only lose one other person than Matt.
I know.
That's the crazy part. We have a micro majority.
Yeah. All of this is just, it is not the way it should be. And kind of like the Senate issue with the filibuster. And I just wish, like I was talking to Congressman Donalds about, I just wish that they would do, just go ahead, just bring it out, get everybody, call them to the floor, have the talk, let them talk themselves until they're blue in the face. See what I did there? Blue in the face, because Democrats.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they talk themselves till they're blue in the face, and then get it over with. And then there you go. And if they would have done that, earlier, we already would have been that far ahead in the process of them talking themselves out and then getting this thing passed.
And people are like, oh, well, we're going to slow down the agenda. There's no bigger agenda than making sure that our election system is accurate, and make the Senate hold the floor for this filibuster. Let's have the debate. I mean, when I ran the Senate back there, we had a big majority, but I always told our team, we don't not only need to win the vote, we need to win the debate, because when we start losing debates is when we lose the majority.
Right, exactly. Congressman Mike Karadopoulos is joining us here on Florida's Voice. A couple of other things that I wanted to discuss with you, not just the SAVE Act, but also something that took place about the soaring costs of housing and what we're trying to do here. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's a huge issue. And you know, when President Trump left office, the interest rate was 2.7%. It got as high as 7.8%. That delta is huge. I know you all are on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast. The minimum house price where I live is about $500,000. Having an interest rate from approximately 3 to almost 8 is $1,200 to $1,300 a month. That's 15 grand. Then you have on top of that this reality of inflation where you're already getting hit with food prices, et cetera. And so we put together a common sense idea where we need to get rid of the barriers to entry, meaning we need to have more supply. There's a lot of demand, but there's not enough supply because of rules that are in place on zoning, let alone some of the other environmental rules. We need some common sense changes. And we passed a bill 390-9. We showed the government can work, and we're hopeful the Senate will take it up soon. So again, we provide more supply because the demand is there. Because remember, 10 million illegals came into this country, and that put a big push on demand. And remember also that when the government subsidizes these folks, that's also going to artificially raise prices.
Yeah. You just brought up the illegals and, the horrible story again of this semi-truck driver who we come to find out, I guess the business was not legitimate. I mean, trying to make its way around all of these different things. And then you have this illegal driving, killing these 4 Amish people there in I forget which state it was. Forgive me. I think maybe it was Indiana, but just a horrible story. Too many of these stories that we continue to hear, and how, again, you look at the left, you look at the media and how they talk about this issue of ICE, or they talk about what's going on with criminal illegals in this country, and how that narrative has been. And even you have taken it to CNN and places to have this discussion, and it feels like it gets off the rails with the discussion about illegals in this country.
This is such a no-brainer issue. Not only do they come here illegally, they cut in line of other people, and they get subsidized.
Yeah.
Then they come here and break the law again. And these aren't petty crimes here. These are murder, rape, drug dealing, all types of child molestation. And the Democrats not only let them out of jail, then these ICE agents have to go and rearrest them with no help from law enforcement, and you have this chaos in the street. But I also want to put in perspective for the listeners. In most places across the country, they don't have this problem. It's in only these blue, hyper sensitive sanctuary cities is where it's happening, and that's the great frustration. And so when I was on CNN, you probably saw it this morning, these people are like, what do you mean? What about the illegals? What about the protesters in the street? Well, what about that ICE agent who's simply obeying the law, doing his job? He's got a wife and kids at home, and he's worried about survive. I want him to have a body camera. You know why? Because I want it to show people what this has to go through every day.
Let me tell you something. That issue is something that is crazy to me, that it went from, we have to put body cams on law enforcement. And it's like, okay, we probably should, because at least we could see exactly what's going on. It's not going to be hearsay. And then the minute that happens, and then the minute there might be some accountability and you would actually see what's going on, it's like, wait a second. It's so predictable. It's so predictable.
Whatever we're for, they're against. They have lost it. And again, they're asking people to go to the streets to protect people who violently hurt them, killed them, raped them, molested them, sold them drugs. And they're going to go out and protect those people who are destroying their own city. It's just world upside down. Only way to put it.
That was a big buzz. Was that a big
we
buzz?
are. We are getting ready to vote now. This is the good news, Drew, is that we're going to be voting the SAVE Act. We're going to have a series of votes today. We have to kill the Democrats' bad ideas on the floor, then vote. But we need folks to call senators and just press on them, because we can't lose this opportunity, because this majority is a micro majority. We could lose it very easily. And all Donald Trump will do for the next 2 years, if we lose the majority, is fending off one impeachment attempt after another and one lie after another with their bogus hearings that they're going to hold about this, that, or the other. Remember, why did people put Republicans in power? Border security, make sure we didn't have the largest tax increase of all time, and get the economy back on track. That's happening right now. And they're going to try to say, look over here or look over there, because the issues are on our side. I can't wait to have the affordability debate versus Democrats.
It's coming. All right, let's get it done. All right, Congressman.
Always great to see you, Joe.
Great
all
to
right,
see you
welcome
too.
to Washington. You get the heck out of here. It's cold.
It's true. I got to go now. Oh, it would be nice to go, but no, we're going to be staying for the next few days. We'll be here until Friday. So we'll continue. Great to see you. All right. Anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. What else we got going on? Busy day today here on Capitol Hill. It wasn't just the issue going on with regard to the SAVE Act and the buzzing going on and getting ready for the vote, but it's also about Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, today on Capitol Hill.
in the committee hearing. And there were just some crazy, crazy moments that took place today. And I just wanted to play just a couple of them. First of all, you have people who get very, very emotional, and I get it. They're fundraising, they're congressmen and women. They're trying to get the most outrageous reaction and clips that they possibly can get so that they can fundraise off of it. But some of it gets out of control. Some of it is just kind of humorous. This part, as Representative Jayapal Democrat Jayapal, was talking to the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, here on Capitol Hill, and was having the discussion about look, here's what happened. The Attorney General wanted to give an update on everything that is going on, and it turned out to be nothing but Epstein talk against the Attorney General. Democrats were very, very, D, is the right word? Is it boisterous or vociferous? Which one do you like better, boisterous or vociferous? Of the two.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know the two good words for you. By the way, for those that don't know, D is the keeper of all things linguistic. So he gets excited about big words. Which one do you? I like vociferous. That's kind of a cool one.
I think it sounds a bit cooler.
Yeah, it does to me too. All right, so here we go. You have Representative Democrat Jayapal, who, when talking about the Epstein file, said this.
Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
I'm a little confused in the moment. Forgive me. Trying to figure this out. So, Representative Jayapal, Democrat, wants an apology from Attorney General Pam Bondi about the releasing of 3.5 million files and documents and videos and the like, because they have been demanding the release. And then when the Attorney General releases said information, she wants an apology for releasing too many Epstein files. How do you square that circle, as some people like to say? That's an interesting dichotomy. D, how about that? An interesting dichotomy. Another big word. Another big word for you. I am on a roll. That's right. I'm like butter. All right. So what else happened today as the Attorney General was there? Obviously, it devolved into a lot of shouting match issues that we'll play in just a second. Representative Zoe Lofgren, during an exchange, was very upset about, again, the issue of Jeffrey Epstein and some of the people that have been named and affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein. And okay, I understand, but at the same time, it started to devolve into.
Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
May I answer?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it interesting that.
Okay, wait. I didn't get to the first part. Oh no. All right, wait a second. Let me go back for a second. Oh, well, I don't have to go back. I guess I can just play the rest of that, where the issue of, again, people affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein, the release of the files. You're following all this. Zoe Lofgren, Representative Democrat, was questioning the Attorney General. So the Attorney General kind of was like, yeah, I could snap back on that, as she wanted to answer for what she was questioning her on.
Going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing.
It really was a circus today. The Democrats laughing at the Attorney General, who's suggesting that the president is the greatest president of our lifetime.
and everybody thinks this is funny. It's a joke. They're all laughing. And
I find it interesting. She keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman. Did you?
Uh-oh.
And
Mr. Chairman, regular order, please.
she
Regular
posted
order.
nothing on her X account and her Twitter account during the Biden year.
Oh boy. Wow. So that's the kind of devolving we got into. So that is the Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was like, wait a second, you keep going after Trump, you keep talking about Trump, the Epstein files and Trump. Well, hold on a second. How about the fact that you had donations that were linked to Reid Hoffman, who was all over again the Epstein files, and people know about his background. And so that came up, and it was a bad look in a lot of different ways. Now, one other thing that happened here was the Attorney General. I just want to play this because I guess there's less shouting match in this. And then I just wanted to move on because we've got a lot to cover here at Florida's Voice. Just kind of going through some of the things that have transpired as the Attorney General was testifying on the Epstein files and some oversight. It was more about Justice Department oversight, but it turned into Epstein files, of course. So I wanted to hear a little bit of what she had to say to the representatives there in the chamber.
First, he brought up the president saying they indicted me twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016.
Now, I wonder what people think about this. Let me explain. That Pam Bondi is using her time as she's being questioned by Democrat members of the House to literally call them out one by one by one. Jamie Raskin, who wanted to question the Attorney General on whether it was the Epstein files or anything else, mostly Epstein files. The Attorney General pushing back with, maybe people need to know about your history, because everybody was going to watch this because they knew, and there were going to be viral clips, and everybody knew that this was going to happen. But the chance for the Attorney General to have those same people be able to hear about the history of the representative that they have elected in their districts, these Democrats, so that people can understand that Jamie Raskin was part of the whole impeachment hoax that was going on against the president, not once but twice.
Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents.
Yeah, but it was too many. That's too much. Maybe a couple of three, like Representative Jayapal was talking about. Well, you released too many. Why did you release so many? Because you've been asking for so many. Anyway, I just wanted to move on from that discussion there that was going on. It was more like a screaming match, and I mean, it literally was. Do you want to see how all right, I'll give you one more. I know we got to just play this last one because we might be hitting a break anyway. And it also might be part of the top 5 audio clips today. But the final, I don't know, I guess this is the epitome of what would be the screaming matches that were happening on Capitol Hill today.
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
This is Jerry Nadler, who, by the way, fell asleep there on the dais, had to be had to be shoved by one of his
people there, one of his directors.
It's my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman
How many of you
Jordan, I'm
indicted?
not going to get in the gutter with these people.
How many
but
of
I'm going to answer the question.
How many of you indicted?
Again, the time belongs.
Claiming my time.
The time
I
belongs.
think it's very
Claiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Claiming my
interesting.
time.
You can
When
reclaim
he
your
talked
time.
about they indicted,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
president said they indicted him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please stop the clock.
Stop the clock! Stop the clock! Okay, yeah. There was crazy drama going on there on. I know, right outside the doors where I am right now, right here on Capitol Hill. That's where we are today. Not the capital Tallahassee, but capital Washington D.C. for the next few days. Yeah, and obviously the Save Act vote happening right now as we speak. And so we're going to find out in a few more minutes whether or not the House is going to pass the Save America Act and whether or not we're going to have Republicans and others in the Senate move this thing. Let the filibuster begin. Let the Democrats take to the floor, demand they hit the floor, and demand that we get this done. Let's see. Coming up, Louis.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. Got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose. I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops build specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad. Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead and in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right. Anytime you want to check out the program, you can watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And if you're wondering, hey, that doesn't look like the studio, it's not. We're Capitol Hill is where we are, Washington, D.C., as the very important SAVE Act is getting voted on right now. And we're hoping to have a live update coming up in just a little bit. Representative Jimmy Petronis is going to be scheduled to join us. So we'll see if he'll be able to get off the House floor and be able to come here to give us an update. We could talk about that coming up in just a bit. Once again, anytime you want to check it out at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. All right, top 5 audio clips of the day. It's my top 5.
This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
Have criticized the fact that you were even there, given the sort of hot potato political thing that with Bad Bunny, et cetera. They didn't think you should be there. In fact, Senator Blackburn, Marsha Blackburn, has called for an investigation into your impartiality. So, you have any response to that?
Well, I mean, when you are in public life, criticism, is part of the job.
Yes.
I'm sure all of you have faced it.
No, we don't get anything.
And another part of the job, actually, my job, is public outreach and education. When the justices are on recess, which is what we are doing right now, we really have an opportunity to go out into the community in various different ways. I was actually in LA because of a moot court that I was doing at around the same time. And it's just so happened that I got nominated for this Grammy, and I was already going to be there. And I thought this is a great opportunity to highlight my work in this way and to see what's happening at the Grammys.
And you were nominated. Let's.
Okay. So that's again my first reaction when I saw this video is so what is a woman?
Yeah, that's Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was on to see the ladies of the View, because they want to get as many lefties on the program as possible, even people who are running for office, but no Republicans. We don't want to do that. Anyway, well, I'm sure they've had a couple. Have they had any? She was being questioned about being at the Grammys. Senator Marsha Blackburn was named in this discussion as she was upset about her because it's not like part of her job, but I guess apparently it is for her. And Senator Marsha Blackburn said, clearly the word woman isn't the only thing Justice Jackson struggles to understand. Going to the Grammys isn't part of your job. She swore an oath to remain impartial, and she made her bias against ICE clear the minute she showed up at such a politicized event. And I'm just trying to figure out, if you're listening to that discussion and then you hear Marsha Blackburn, are you thinking to yourself, like I was thinking to myself, when it comes to Marsha Blackburn and what she just said, where is she wrong?
Number 4.
On-farm payrolls for January coming in twice expectations at 130,000, 130K. That would be the juiciest going back to April of last year when it was 158.
Look out, we're coming in hot, everybody. That is Rick Santelli on CNBC talking about today's job reports, January jobs report. Everybody was like, probably 55,000. And nope, we come in at 133,000. That is a pretty good number, one of the biggest numbers, like he described recently, as far as that time period is concerned. So twice the expectations at 130. And so once again, all the people who are sitting around and are just like, I got to tell you, this everything is a disaster. It's terrible. Trump, TDS. What do you got to say about that now?
Number 3.
I've got a series of questions for you that we can get through pretty quickly, I think. Can you tell me, is it true that the Biden-Harris DOJ raided President Trump's home?
They did.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ allow Jack Smith to spy on over a dozen Republican members of Congress?
Absolutely.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ seize the phone of a sitting Republican congressman?
Yes.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ and Jack Smith pay at least $20,000 to confidential human sources to provide information on President Trump?
At least.
At least. Did the Biden-Harris DOJ and FBI fail to apprehend the suspect who placed pipe bombs near the Capitol ahead of January 6th?
Yes.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ target parents as domestic terrorists?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so that's just 45 seconds of 3 minutes of Representative Brandon Gill, who was questioning Pam Bondi today. And of course, the House Judiciary Committee turned into this very contentious meeting. And he was just asking some very serious, straightforward, blunt questions. I like his style. I might even play some more of what he had to say when we come back after we do the top 5 audio clips, because when you're talking about what you should be doing and should have people there on the dais, the Democrats explain, yeah, you want to go after Attorney General Pam Bondi. You want to go after what's going on with her releasing of the Epstein files and the questions that you have and some other things that are going on in the DOJ. All right, cool. Hey, can you answer any of those other questions that he has for us, please? Because we have yet to have you say.
Number 2.
Now, Republicans know their ideas are unpopular. They see the writing on the wall this November. And instead of trying to win fair and square, they don't want to, they want to cheat. They're hoping that this bill will pass and will make it so hard to vote that many American citizens will just give up.
That is a ranking member there, Democrat McGovern. Actually, his office is right down the hall from here. I noticed that as I was walking out just a little while ago. I'm like, oh, that's the guy that I played on the air just a few minutes ago as I was talking about the SAVE Act and this Democrat who's claiming that Republicans are trying to pass it because they want to cheat on elections. See, this is what they do. They try to gaslight you and try to gaslight their constituents into believing that that is the case when Democrats are the ones who do it all the time. Did I say that out loud? I don't know. Maybe you should prove me wrong. But in the meantime, I'm saying it, and I just did. And you should stop doing that. It's just
Number 1.
is recognized for UC.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating implodes on his strongest issue. This is from Newsweek today. It says 40% of people
Thank you.
approve of
You don't
Trump's
need to
handling
read
of
the article to
immigration
us.
and border security, while 60% disapprove.
Without objection,
That is the net
admitted.
drop.
Now I recognize the gentleman
20.
from California, Mr. Liu.
That was the best part. I'm sorry, it wasn't the best part of it. There were funny parts, but that was a pretty funny part right there. So you had Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, Capitol Hill, and this Judiciary Committee hearing, and they're talking about what's going on at the DOJ and the Epstein files and the like. And so Jasmine Crockett decided that she was going to use her very valuable time there talking about Trump and Trump derangement and going through a Newsweek article, which not biased at all. And you had her shut down in just a few seconds there. Andy Biggs, Representative Andy Biggs, I guess, who was sitting at the gavel in that moment, just basically gavelled her out and said, yeah, all right, we're not doing this. We're not doing the TDS on steroids thing here. We're moving on. I recognize
Drew's top 5.
I'm recognizing somebody else after that. I'm sorry, that was pretty funny. But I did want to play the rest of what Representative Brandon Gill was talking about as well, because as you had this contentious hearing, as you had the back and forth and the screaming and the yelling and whoa and all of this, I love that Representative Gill went right to the crux of the matter, which is, let's talk about the Democrats. Let's talk about the previous administration. Let's talk about what they, well, not just the corruption, but what they did to the American people and the president of the United States. Can we talk a little bit about that? Here he goes on.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ target pro-life Catholics, going so far as to interview a priest and a choir director?
Yes.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ send FBI SWAT teams to arrest pro-life advocates with no criminal histories?
Yes.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ use the FACE Act to target pro-life advocates while it allowed anti-life agitators to vandalize, destroy, and firebomb pregnancy resource centers and churches?
Multiple times, I believe.
Multiple times. Did the Biden-Harris DOJ ever determine who leaked the Dobbs decision?
I can't discuss that. No, under Biden-Harris.
Got it.
No.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ and FBI target whistleblowers for revealing waste, fraud, and abuse within the department to Congress?
Not to my knowledge.
Did the Biden-Harris DOJ refuse to say whether it coordinated with Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis, and Letitia James in their lawfare against President Trump?
They refused.
It goes on for another minute, and it is stellar. And I would encourage you to find it. This back and forth with Representative Brandon Gill, one after the other, for no other reason than, again, to understand all of the different things that the Biden-Harris administration was doing against the American people, against Republicans, against political enemies, against Catholics, against Christians. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so good for him for taking his time and doing just that, calling them out. And I think that was a pretty big deal. All right, what else do we have? What else do we have going on here at Florida's Voice? We got any Florida? We have a couple of Florida stories I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I do. One in particular has to do with Miss North Florida, Kaylee Bush. We had her on the program a few months back, and she is here in Washington, D.C., and she was talking to, I guess, TMZ caught up with her on the streets here of D.C., and as she was talking about having her crown removed because she said that men cannot become women, she was talking to the folks there at TMZ, and I just wanted to play a little bit of this because I thought this was an interesting exchange.
You were looking to compete for Miss America, but then they took your Florida crown off you because you made statements about sort of transgender.
Yes, that is exactly right. I was asked to sign a contract that was different than the first one that I had agreed to because they had changed it 4 weeks after I rightly won. And so I didn't lose my crown because I broke a rule. I lost the crown because I was unwilling to rewrite the truth.
And were you super upset, obviously, when you lost your crown and then Miss Cheerleads America reached out to you and said, hey, we'll honor you?
Okay, I just want to stop for a second. D, I'm not a reporter, dude, and I know it's TMZ, and so take it for what it's worth. But I'm trying to figure this out. Did he just ask her whether she was super upset or not by getting her crown taken away?
Even you could have came up with that question.
Well, it's not just me coming up with a question. Felt to me like the reporter was trying to question her in a way where he didn't really, I don't know, value her beliefs. How's that for a way of putting it? Let me just play a little bit more before we hit the break. Do we have time?
And heartbroken. It was a lot of soul searching, but God uses all things for good. And here I am.
What were the circumstances that you spoke out about this?
So she just explained the circumstances. I know we got to hit the break. She just explained the circumstances that she had her crown taken away when they asked her about on, I guess, a contract, right? That she was filling out, and she noticed that there were some things on the contract where they were speaking their truth, not the truth, and she wasn't going to be part of that. So that was just a kind of Florida story, Miss North Florida here in Washington, D.C., I guess, speaking to, I'm not really sure who she was talking to here, but I just noticed the video and then heard a little bit of the interview, and I thought, all right, I got to play this. Kaylee Bush speaking out about having the crown removed because saying that men cannot become women. Yeah. All right. Let's put a bow on today's show. Next.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these firsthand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story, ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
You sneaker.
Every great partnership begins with the first step,
Let's go.
guiding them through the world. So one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy, you raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What is there? It comes via police body cam footage from Louisville last month. A missing 3-year-old child, more than a half dozen officers on the search. They sent up a helicopter, but had no luck until this happened.
Oh, what's up, dude? There's a dog. Where's he at? Let's go.
That's Officer Josh Thompson responding to a dog that seemed to have something important to say.
He led me all the way back to the backyard. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, there's kids in this backyard.
And sure enough,
the dog went right to the back bumper. Check the rear here. Goes to the back bumper. I just sat there. Yeah, he's right here.
After a quick lesson in car locks,
Grab and pull it. I don't think I've ever seen a happier kid in my life. He jumped out of the car, bear hugged my neck, and wouldn't let go.
Good job, buddy. The dog had cracked the case.
Bless, he found him. And I don't know where the dog came from, but it was a blessing from God that day.
Dee, did you hear this story? I played this for you as we finish out the program here on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. All right, so this dog, the Louisville police, they go out, right? And that's Josh Thompson there, Louisville Metro Kentucky Police Department. And as you heard in the story, he goes, there's a missing child alert. He goes out trying to find this child. They're not sure where he's at. They see this dog. The dog is barking. And if you watch the video, and if you can't watch that, FL Voice News, YouTube, Bravo, Alexa, Facebook, if you're driving, then I'm describing this. The dog is standing there and the dog is barking, but he's clearly like, hey, come here. I got to show you something. Like, follow me. And so they're just like, okay, boy, show us what's going on. And so they follow the dog, and the dog leads them to the child who locked himself in the car and couldn't figure out, because he was too young to figure out how to pull the handle on the inside of the car to open the door. And so they finally he locked himself in, gets himself out. Everything is great. And there's the rest of the story. I guess the CBS Evening News had this. You didn't see this? Well, of course, you don't watch CBS Evening News. I get it. All right. So you ready, Dee, for the rest of the story? I knew you would love this because it's a happy, feel-good story. You like to end on happy, feel-good stories. And it has
anything with dogs.
And it's got a dog. Okay. Here's the end of the story. Check this part out.
God that day.
And here's the thing about that dog. Officer Thompson says he'd been patrolling that neighborhood for 2 years and had never seen the dog before that moment. And he hasn't seen the dog since that day. And to this very day, the department still does not know who the dog belongs to.
You getting chills? I'm getting chills. You getting chills? Yes. So the dog, they never saw the dog before, and they haven't seen him since. And they don't know where he came from. But he saved the child's life in the locked car that couldn't be found.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Woo! They wear fur. I see what I did there. A little fur joke. Get it? The dog. No? Yeah. So that was one of those. If you're wondering, a little inside Drew Steele baseball, here's the thing. If you're wondering, what story could I play that would tug at D's heartstring? That's the story. That might be the ultimate Big D story right there. That might be it. Like,
you did pretty well with that.
Yeah. If I was thinking about the quintessential story for him, because he loves dogs, he loves happy endings, and I don't know what else is there, and cold weather because it was Louisville. No, he doesn't love cold weather. Nobody loves cold weather. Does anybody love cold weather? There are people that love cold weather. My mom loved cold weather. Like she was always okay with the cold living in New York. She would mostly be like, yeah, it's not that big a deal. I mean, it goes away, but it's nice. I get to bundle up. I get to take out clothes I haven't worn in a long time. It's nice. It's like a wardrobe change every 6 months. No, seriously, that's it was like that kind of thing. All right, that's going to do it live from the Capitol. We'll be back here in the Capitol again tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you then. Drew Steele, Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing